Hi friends, it's Ken Godevinus again with Kenny's Carrots. Today we're looking at episode number 27. We have been quoting from Christopher Watkins' book, Biblical Critical Theory. I'm working my way through it. Find it fascinating but also very slow reading because of the content of each sentence. You have to really digest it and sometimes read a number of sentences twice. Anyway, we've been talking about sin being caused by autonomy, our desire for autonomy, as it's depicted in Genesis chapter 3 when the serpent first tempted Eve. He writes quite a bit about that. Today, I'm going to quote a few paragraphs from a section called Autonomy and the Ethic of Violence. Autonomy and the Ethic of Violence. Here you go. Autonomy is inherently conflictual and it leads to an agonistic society. If no necessary authority greater than me or outside me can challenge my own lawmaking, and if no such authority resides outside you either, then fundamental differences between us cannot be settled in a non-partisan and ironic or peaceful way. That's I-R-E-N-I-C, irenic way. The only way to resolve conflict between our two autonomies is on the basis of power. Either naked power, we fight each other and one of us becomes the slave to the other's master, or sublimated power. We both choose to submit, as Thomas Hobbes suggests in Leviathan, to a common rule backed by brute force. This is why Augustine holds that the love binding together the city of God is a public love. Everyone loves the one God, and so everyone's love is united. And the love of the earthly city is private. Everyone's love is their own and directed according to their own judgment about what is good and evil. As Augustine scholar James Wetzel explains, what the ideal typical citizens of the earthly city seek is something privatus, something of their own, something they can own without remainder. What they especially seek is power, potestas, potentia, that can be held and exercised without reference to any other power. The ideal type of that power is held by the one God. And in seeking private mastery, the earthly city attempts to become like him. As we might imagine, when every citizen of the city is his or her own little God, it is a recipe for conflict, competition, and discord. As Augustine explains, the city of God and the earthly city enjoy different social relations. The one is tranquil in the light of godliness, the other turbulent with dark desires. The one at God's command brings merciful aid and just vengeance, but the other, in its pride, seethes with the desire to subdue and hurt. The one is the minister of God's goodness to the outmost of its will, whereas the other is restrained by God's power for the harm that it longs to do. Before we dismiss this as a utopian picture bearing little resemblance to real-world Christians, let us remember, as Augustine stresses in the same paragraph, that the two cities remain mixed throughout time until the last judgment separates them. And that's where we find ourselves today. Let me conclude with this one statement. Augustine woos his reader to consider the heavenly city, one which does not subdue our autonomous wills through the external threat of force, but unites our loves through an internal conversion of the heart. After Genesis 3, the heavenly and earthly cities are set on their respective courses of love and violence. We get to choose. And we see this happening all over our world today. People who have chosen violence, disagreement, conflict, versus people who have chosen love and peace and God. Hope you're enjoying these. Join me next time when we bring you another Kenny's Carrot. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Digging for Scriptural Gems, and you'll be notified when we publish various things. Thanks for joining us. Have a blessed day.